Good evening, tribe. Hope you all are doing well this evening. We are diving into our natural hair session tonight. So we got a couple things. I popped up an agenda so we could get started right away. I hope you all have had a great week, and we're going to dive right in tonight. I actually took the time to split this session into two parts. And the reason I put it into two parts is because once I started going over the information, I realized we needed to lay a foundation first. So we'll do that tonight. Now, what are we going to talk about? So tonight we're going to review the Urban Bella system. Just a quick overview of what we've talked about over the past 4 or 5 weeks. And then I did put a quiz in. If you were not here last week and you did not get a chance to take our quiz, it's designed to help you see how long your natural hairstyle will last. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the spring bath and body boxes that are coming up next week. And then we're going to talk about natural hair characteristics. Tonight in particular, we're going to, let me make sure y'all can hear me. Tonight in particular, we are going to talk about porosity level. So I'm going to give you some information tonight that's going to help you determine your porosity level. So then next week, as we go through and walk through and adjust your system, you will know where you stand. So this is the perfect time tonight to ask me questions if you're not sure about your porosity level. Let's go ahead and make sure you find out and understand. I am going to talk a little bit tonight about the water test because that is an important part of, understanding, does it work, does it not work? And I have a little bit of an announcement, so I'm excited to do that as well. So let me just make sure that if you're joining me for the first time, please say hi and tell me what city and state you are in. And then let's go here to sound levels because I do have one thing muted. Let me unmute. Okay, perfect. So I think we're good to go. And I am going to take a look at the comments. As you roll in, just say hi. Let me know where you are joining me from. And if this is your first time joining me, tell me what city and state. If you're not joining us for the first time, I will already know. So that'll be nice and easy. Okay, so let's quickly dive in. Now, one of the first things that so far, we have been talking about the Urban Bella system. Here is a simple layout of the system. We've been talking about hydration, how you build that, and we've been talking about the products and tools that help you raise your hydration and keep it where it needs to be. So we've been diving into your cleansers, your conditioners, and your tools for that. Then we talked about your moisture system, and we talked about the products and tools you need to help you build moisture and maintain. And actually, I said maintain hydration because one of the things we talked about is that your moisture system actually is one of the pillars of support for your hydration system. And what do I mean by that? Meaning your moisture system starts with your conditioner, but ends with the actual moisturizers that you use. And then we talked about your styling system. We actually had a couple of video clips, tutorials, and things for you to look at last week. And if you didn't get a chance to see those, definitely take a look at the last live that I did. And that will show you how that's looking and exactly how to do that. And then the last part of it is your process. The proper way to implement all three systems and have a wash and go that lasts more than 7 days without refreshing your curls. So how often should you do the hydration system? What should you be doing exactly? When do you moisturize? How do you measure if your moisture level is okay? Your styling system, when do you implement it? How do you implement it? So we've covered all of that, the what you need, and then the how to do it. So where are we now? Now we're going to start talking about your hair characteristics, okay? So I've got a couple that I'll say realistically, they're like 10, easily 10 at Urban Bella. I have narrowed it down to the ones that really I want you to focus on. Now, does that mean I won't go over the other 10 at some point in time? I will. I just don't want it to be too complicated. And I'm going to level set a little bit about what I think about hair characteristics versus hair typing. All right. And then we're going to take a focused look at porosity. And I broke porosity into two parts, like I was saying. And the reason why is because I think it's important tonight that first we just help you understand how to identify your porosity level. Because I learned personally that understanding my porosity level sets the tone for everything. It's big. It's much bigger than people think it is. And people talk about like people say, what's my hair type? I'm like, that's less than you need to be worried about. It doesn't even mean anything. I mean, it does give you maybe like a general gauge, and hair type does take into account natural hair characteristics. But as you see, I'm going to dive even deeper into porosity. We'll probably end up spending 3 weeks on porosity because you really need to understand the nuances of it. Not even hair porosity, I'm sorry. We will probably spend all of April going over hair characteristics because they're not absolute. And you'll understand more about what I mean by that as we go down the road. So I'm going to dive in tonight. So just let me quickly tell you, if you are new and you have never seen me before, you have never heard of Urban Bella, I'm Kanisha Hudson. I'm the founder here at Urban Bella. And I have one mission with Urban Bella. We have one goal as a team. We are trying to make your natural hair process easy and something you can embrace with no questions and no stress about it. And we go about that by making sure you have the right education and you have the right products. And by right products, I mean quality products that work well for your hair. So that's what we're all about here. So when you come, if I'm not here goofing off, then we're spending time teaching and educating. So this is where we at. March, we're about to go into April for 2023. I'm going to be spending a lot more time this year teaching and educating. I've got some more time to dedicate it and put more quality work into that. So you're going to see a lot more education from Urban Bella. So that's what we're about. So welcome if you don't know who I am and what we're all about and why I do this. We have been doing this for 20 years and we have always been doing teaching and education. I actually started Urban Bella because I felt like natural hair was as complicated as like makeup. And having people just sell you a bunch of products would never have served us because we meaning women who identify as being black, we hadn't been wearing our hair textured for a long time, like generations. We hadn't really been wearing textured hair. And then it was starting to come back. And I personally loved it. I was like, "Ooh, I think I want to do that." You were seeing a little bit of it, more with, I would say, people who look like they were of mixed race heritage. But I knew I was like, I am feeling that look. I'm feeling the vibe. I had no idea how to do it, no clue. And I'm one of those people who I hate when people say, "You ought to do that. You should wear that," and then they have no guidance for you. So my passion is to remove all that mystery. Help you understand what's really, really important and help you understand the real value of quality products. So that's who I am. That's what this company is all about. So we're going to dive into our stuff. Now, the first thing I like to do is say hey to the tribe. If you're new here, you are amongst a wonderful group of women. You can post a question in the comments and the tribe is going to answer you and I'm going to answer you too. So I come out here live to teach, yes, but really I'm also using this as your opportunity to ask me a question directly because I don't, get on the phone and answer questions on the phone about natural hair and things like that. We just don't have the capacity for that. But I like to come out, take the time, answer questions about Urban Bella products, your hair, all that good stuff. So let me dive in. And I like to do the hellos because it's fun. Ooh, Eden's here. Hey, Eden, you haven't been in a while. Good to have you back. Nina's here. Hi, Nina. Hi, Ebony. And this Erica's new. Hi, Erica Monique. This is her first time. You're in Grovetown, Georgia. Well, Erica, welcome. Any questions, post them. We're happy to answer them. And then if you find you need something, if you need a little more, detailed, nuanced help with your texture, I do invite you to visit our website. In the bottom left-hand corner, there is a Tolstoy video. It allows you to post a Tolstoy if you want someone to see your hair texture. We can see you on video, and then myself and our team will respond back to you. All right, and that Tolstoy, y'all, is if you are trying to purchase products and you just want us to look at your hair to tell you what to buy. That's the real purpose of it. And Debbie's here. Hi, Debbie. LaTanya. Hey, LaTanya. Kimberly. Hey, it's been a while. Good to see you. Tanya. Hello. Hi, Nora. Claretta. Hey, Claretta. Katisha, I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you made it. I see you got out of class early enough. And let's see. And Erica says she will post questions. Okay, cool. So you guys got to forgive me just a little bit. I am getting my sea legs back. I stepped away for a minute for a little miniature vacation. So I am trying to get all my sea legs together. All right. So let's get to it. Let's see. Where are my Let's see, slides. What do I have? All right, we did that already. Okay, so natural hair characteristics. And I'm going to make this go pretty quickly. Obviously, you all know I'm going to be doing a master class. Actually, let me go back here real quick and make sure I explain everything. So I did post the quiz for everyone. So if you were here last week and you got a chance to take the quiz, excellent. If you didn't, go ahead and take the quiz. The quiz helps you and I understand where you are in your hair care routine, okay? So what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is there's certain things that you can do that are going to help your hair care routine. Let me close this down. I'm sorry, I want to close that down. I'm going to close that down. I'm going to close that down. All right, we don't need that yet. Okay, so there's certain things that you can do. Let me rephrase. The Urban Bella system, if you follow it to a T, your natural hairstyles last about 2 weeks. They last longer than that. Let me just put it to you straight. If you don't follow that system, okay, you might be doing parts of it. You might be doing another system. No problem. The quiz will walk you through what it is you do. And based on my time running a hair salon, my own natural hair journey, obviously manufacturing products, I know listening to people what they can expect immediately. The quiz gives you what I would say to you if I were having a question or conversation with you. The quiz helps you understand what I already know listening to your process. So it just lets you know you can expect your hairstyle to last a couple days. You can expect your hairstyle to last a couple weeks, or 1 week, or a couple of hours. I didn't put anything in the quiz to say your hair will last a couple of hours, but I'll give you an example. I'll tell y'all a little story. One of my best friends, we got together over the last couple of days, and I was at her home with her family, and they have a lot of kids, and some of them are older, like, in their 20s, they're like adults, and then some of them are little. So when I'm there, everybody's like, it's all hair questions, and what am I doing wrong? And I'm funny with them. I'm like, if I see something in their house that I don't make, I'm like, what's with the contraband? Are we in an argument? Is there a fight going on around here? And so their daughter was working on her brother's hair, and he was asking me what he should use and all these things. And then she starts to work on his hair. She pulled out something that wasn't mine. I'm like, what is that? What is that? And it was interesting because we were all just kind of talking about how the difference between like Urban Bella product and, whatever other stuff they had. And one of the things one of the kids said was, yeah, I don't know. I put the stuff on my hair, but it just doesn't, by the middle of the day, it doesn't work. And I was like, yeah, because I don't make that. What is that? And I was explaining like, yeah, your what you get from your hair is a direct reflection of the whole system, how you put it in, the quality of product. I had the exact same conversation with my neighbor a few days ago. She was just like, yeah, I'm just not really, something ain't working. I was like, it's your product quality and your technique. So when we talk about the system and all the things, I can just listen to people, and I can say, I can tell you what you're doing. You're getting about 2 days, 2 hours. So that's what the quiz will do. So take the quiz. Find out how long you can expect your hairstyle to last, and then the system will help you fix parts of it. All right. So anyway, let's dive in. Let's keep going here. Now, what else do I want to do? So I put the quiz up. Spring bath and body boxes. Let me make sure I tell you all this. I gotta do housekeeping. Spring bath and body boxes are coming. I'm doing a trio. There's 2 different boxes. There'll be a trio, which will be body wash, body oil, and body butter. 2 different fragrances, and that's going to be a great gift. It'll be a great price point. I think you all will really love that. And then there will be a deluxe box. The trios will be available and ready to ship immediately, so you'll be able to place your order for those. They'll ship out. The deluxe boxes, which have 5 items in them, are pre-order, so we only want to make those if we know like you want one for sure. Okay, so we'll put all that information up. They'll be available next week. And that way you'll just have a good idea of what's going to ship and how everything's going to work. So we're about to dive into natural hair characteristics, and we're going to dive into porosity levels. So let's do that. Now, let's see. I got all my little fancy slides. I can't remember which one is which. Okay, natural hair characteristics. So these are the 4 that I think matter the most. And if you have any questions about these, like what they mean, anything, feel free to ask questions. But I want to tell you, we will do a full session on each one of these. Porosity has 2 sessions alone. Porosity is how your hair accepts and holds onto moisture. And tonight I'm going to focus on going over the different porosity levels. Hair density, that is just strictly how thick is your hair. That ties to your styling, like wash day. It impacts how you have to adjust your technique. So we'll go into that. Curl diameter really dives into what is your curl finish like, and also what kind of work you have to do on styling day to achieve your goals. And then curl length. This is about how many times your hair bends or twists along one lock of hair or one strand. And let me just kind of back up here. So each time my hair, let's see if we can get a piece. This piece right here, this strand has about 5 bends on the part you can see. That is a very short curl length. Somebody else might have a curl that goes here to here to here along one lock of hair. Those things impact product, style, a lot of things, look and finish. And when we're looking at other women who are natural, we're like, oh my God, I love your hair. What are you doing? I want to do what you're doing. Those characteristics matter. They are going to affect your results. So before we always say, oh, I want to see what so-and-so's doing. Let's first back up and see what kind of hair they have. And that happened a lot in the salon. People would come in and they're like, they bring a picture of somebody on Pinterest and they say, oh, I want to look like this person. And we're like, well, that person has like 3 or 4 times the amount of hair you have. Or that person's curl pattern is completely different from yours. Or that's not even that person's curl pattern. That is something they did with a rod or a curling iron. So all those factors matter, but they impact what we say we like and our goals. So I want to help you identify your characteristics. Those are the 4 that I think are the most important. But if you are familiar with others and you want to post them, I'd love to hear from you. Now, I want to know from you all, how many of you know what your porosity level is? And let me clarify. There's knowing your porosity level and thinking you know your porosity level. And let's just level set and assume. Let me see. I'm going to talk about Dr. Porter here in a minute, but let me come back to Dr. Porter. Let's talk about her porosity level. Her porosity test. We don't want to do that. Here we go. Let's just assume that these 3 are the basic porosity levels: high, medium, and low. Okay. I know sometimes people are like, well, nobody has high porosity hair. We'll just assume it's pretty much relative. I've placed pictures here that represent high, medium, and low according to Urban Bella. All right. Now, just in the comments, you can use these pictures as a guide. Just comment and say what you think you are. And while you all comment that, I'm going to take a look at, I'm going to dive into the content. But before we even go in there, I want to back up to something because I think this is very important. The water test. So I'm going to look at comments real quick and then we're going to see what y'all are saying about the water test. Well, we're not going to see what y'all are saying. I'm going to, let me take this one down. I am going to remove a myth from everybody's world because the water test is, it does not work. So I want to make sure I explain to y'all why it didn't work. All right. Oh, a lot of people came in. Hello. Can I buy both spring boxes? Yo, of course you can buy both. You can buy 6 of each if you want to. Absolutely. I just wanted to clarify on the spring boxes. Eden's asking me about the spring boxes. Let me give some clarification. You can purchase both. You can purchase both at the same time. They are pre-order on the bigger box. Anytime you have something that I have to, make, I cut off the deadline for placing an order. Once that one's ready, everything you have in your order will ship at one time. Now, if you were like, I'd rather have my stuff shipped differently, different times, whatever. I I'd have to make an adjustment. You'd have to be able to do that. But I like for y'all to just kind of pay shipping once, let the shipper ship everything. All the boxes ship out in April. So everything arrives by Mother's Day, just so you know. All right. So let's go back to the comments. All right. Janine's here. Hello. Hey, Jackie. I don't know mine at all. Okay. Eden said medium due to the fact that you told me. Pat St. Clair said, I believe I have high porosity. Okay. That is correct, Pat. You are correct. You do have high porosity. And that's a relative term, Pat. That's relative. So, and Kimberly Moss, I'd say you're medium. You're medium porosity. Your gray hair causes your hair to have some characteristics that lean higher, but still not high. But you're medium for sure. But we're gonna go over the details. So let's see what else everybody's saying. Corinne says hi. All right, Corinne. Corinne knows. Corinne, welcome. All right, and then Janet, low is what I've been told. Okay, Janet, you've been told low. All right. And I'm curious, as I go through these characteristics and dive into porosity, I want you all to tell me if there's any discrepancy. If you're like, well, my characteristics are medium, but I was told low. Or my characteristics are high, but I was told, medium. So Sandra said, just dipping in to say hello. You'll catch the replay. No problem, Sandra. Good to see you out here. Thanks for popping in. Based on the pictures, I would say my hair is medium and high porosity. Janine, that is correct. That is exactly where we would place you. Latanya said medium to low. Ebony, low. Yes. Eric, I think I'm medium based on the pictures. Okay, cool. Not sure high. Movita, high. Movita, no. I'd say you're high medium. And as I've learned a little bit more about porosity, here's one thing to note. Oh, y'all, let me say this. It's different all over your head. So it's not one. You're not all one. You're different. It's different all over. You may be higher porosity here. You may be, low in the nape area, and then you might be medium in the front, and then you might be different in the temples. So it can change. Let's say that. Jackie says her hair does not hold a curl pattern. Now here's the interesting thing: porosity and holding a curl pattern are not the same. So I will dive into this more lately. Once I go through all the characteristics, I'm going to begin to show you how you can make a lot of assumptions about your hair. Like you may say, my porosity is high because your hair doesn't really give you a full curl, or it might be difficult to define the curl. Porosity kind of tells you more how product's going to behave with your hair or what you need to keep your hair moisturized. But what I find so intriguing about porosity level is you're going to see different things with it based on what you do with your hair. As an example, my girlfriend has one of the most stunning heads of hair. She's the Kimi oil girl. I told her, well, Dad, so every time I talk about Kimi oil, I blame you. When I met her, her hair was, it looked jet black, but it's not jet black, but it looked like it. It looked like the hair that came on a doll. Just that very silky hair. It looked jet black, but in the sun, it was actually, I was like, oh, your hair is kind of reddish. At least that's what I thought when I was younger. I didn't know hair like I know now. It is red underneath. All of our hair is. But her hair was so silky, my mama was like, is that her hair? Is that real? I said, it's real, isn't it? It's amazing. And it was short, cute little haircut. And she decided one day in college to grow it out. And this is some 2 or 3 years later. She decided to grow it out long. Long and beautiful, had no problem growing it. And then we all went natural, and she struggled more being natural. And I thought, wow, I was imagining you'd be the one who have an easy journey being natural. But she struggled because her curls were so tight. There was not a lot of drop or looseness in her curls. So she was flustered by that, which was interesting because my hair will present kinkier with a straight style. Hers presents silky, but natural. Mine presented with more elongation and buoyancy and fly away. And that's when we really begin to understand different characteristics like porosity and stretch and curl diameter, all these things. My curl diameter is bigger, but just depending on what we're doing, we found different stages of life and different styles to be easier based on a myriad of things. So in the end of all of this, I'll bring it all back and just kind of show you some examples. And we'll have a session where you can submit your photo too. How about we do that? Why don't you all start sending your photos in? You can just email them and say, please include my picture at the end of the road to the wash and go. and share and talk about my characteristics. Now, let me say this. Make sure your hair is, in a basic wash and go. If you have a twist set, I'll have a difficult time giving you the full characteristics. I have to see what your hair looks like in its own natural texture and style. All right. So I think that'll be fun. If you think it'll be fun, send it over. You can put it at info. Let me give this to y'all. Send it at info@urbanbella.net. Make sure you include your name and email too. Okay. Oh, a lot of people coming in. Hello, Susan. Janet, I was talking earlier, Janet. Okay. Sabrina, hi. Bonnie's here. Hey, Bonnie. Let's see. All right, cool. So let's dive in. Let me get going, y'all, because y'all know I will talk all night. So, all right, let's get to it. And let me make sure. I want to talk to y'all about the water test. I'm going to keep this really brief. If you are already a Urban Bella Tribe member, this will not be news to you. You're not going to be like, what's the water test? You will already know that it's pretty much nothing. So I mentioned y'all taking the quiz. Let's dive in here. No, we don't want that. All right. So I want to tell y'all really quickly about Dr. Crystal Porter. Now, I have mentioned Dr. Porter to you all before, Tribe, so this is not the first time you've heard her name. Dr. Porter she used to work with L'Oreal, and she has published several articles for L'Oreal in the field of ethnic hair. She focuses on unique characteristics and needs of different hair types, particularly of those of us with African descent. And she has developed a lot of products for L'Oreal. She is a brilliant woman. And right now, she owns a company called Main Insights, and they focus on studying different aspects of ethnic hair, African hair. So I know Dr. Porter, pretty well. I attend many of her sessions. A lot of work that she's doing really interests me. So I've mentioned her to you all before because I want her to come out and just talk with you all, answer some questions from a scientist perspective and a product formulator. Where Dr. Porter and I kind of veer off is she's a scientist, where I utilize science to develop product, but I am also a marketer and a brand developer. So we're a little different, and that's where we veer off. But where our foundations are similar is really wanting Black women to understand our hair and making sure we're equipped with the right tools. So she did something a while back that I loved, and I was just happened to be on one of her sessions. And so she did the water test. She went in depth, and I walked away. I was like, all right, so basically it doesn't work. That's what I thought. She took strands of hair from her head and an Indian woman's head, and she went through and did a very thorough scientific approach to test to see if the water tests work. And there were a few things that I know people do not do in order to determine if their hair is high porosity or low porosity. She took the strands of hair. She made sure every strand that was tested was the same length and from as much of the same section as possible. And there were little things that she determined. The type of water you use mattered. The strands that you select, where along the strand where she cut, did it come from the root or the end? Because hair at the root has more compounds and components, so it's heavier than the hair strands on the end. What is the chemical process or chemical processes currently on that strand, or has the strand been through? So there are a lot of different factors that she tested, and she tested it like a true scientist. And she was very honest. She was like, and I do not like doing this kind of stuff, but she wanted to give a scientific answer to whether or not it works. And basically, the myth is that porous hair sinks to the bottom because it takes on all this water. Non-porous hair, your low porosity hair, is going to float at the top because it can't take on water. And the strand test the water test proved the exact opposite results. Not only did the porous hair have a difficult time sinking to the bottom, when it finally did, it took longer to do it than really hair that was low porosity. So at the end of the day, the results were inconsistent across different strands. Absolutely not a way to test the porosity level of your hair. She did walk away with some other interesting findings and hypotheses. So she's a scientist. She definitely talks like a scientist. But I reached out to her and I asked her, would she mind coming on to talk with us and to answer y'all's questions. And I've talked to Dr. Porter before, and she would love to do it. So she and I are going to meet. We're going to meet next week, and we'll be setting up a little workshop, a Q&A. So if you would like to talk to Dr. Porter, kind of ask her questions, I'm going to ask her to go over a myriad of things. I'll ask her to dive deeper into her findings with porosity, explain it in her own language a little bit better than I'm explaining it. I'm going to ask her to also dive into some other research she's doing, which is on hair thinning, hair loss. She's got a lot of things, and she can answer pretty much any of your questions you have, and she's coming to you from a scientific perspective, which I think is wonderful. So if you have questions about that, start to get ready for that. We're going to see what her schedule looks like and try to get her to come on as soon as possible this spring. Hopefully she's got time this spring. So let me just take a look and see if y'all have any thoughts. Have y'all ever done the water test? Anybody ever tried it? I know most of the tribe, y'all already know it's a no-go. But I know we've got a lot of new people and some people who don't normally get a chance to join us live. So let's see what y'all think about the water test. And if y'all are like, no, it works. It's you. Let's see here. All right. I didn't realize the hair strand was built like that. Let me tell you, the hair strand looks like a tail. It's very thick at the root, and then you get to the end, and it looks like a whip. It looks like a whip if you look at it under a microscope. It does not stay consistent the whole way. So, and we're getting into hair cutting and trims next week, FYI. Okay, so mine looks like a mini afro. All right. Y'all are funny. Okay, let's dive in. Let's get into it. This will not take forever, but I want to be as clear as possible. So I am going to take my time as I explain this to y'all tonight. And I didn't write down my little slides. I did not write. Normally I write down what each slide is. I didn't do that tonight. I skipped that. Okay. And I'm paying for it too. All right, let's dive in. Let's go high porosity first. So let's talk about the characteristics of high porosity. Now, these two women are a nice representative of high porosity. Now, they're not the most perfect example. I will tell you the lovely woman at the bottom is a better representation of high porosity than the woman to the left. But they both are examples. One of the most important aspects, let's back up, not aspects. One of the most important characteristics that I notice about high porosity, running a salon, working with people, listening to complaints, hearing people say, oh, I don't have my hair won't do this, my hair won't do that, is people with high porosity hair can get their hair to do a true afro. And I mean on day one, any day of the week, any time. Now, keep in mind, you might have sections of your hair that may not do that, but for the most part, you can get a beautiful afro like the lovely angel on the left. Lovely lady down at the bottom, same thing. Now, obviously, she might need a little end trim or something like that, but that is one of the most important parts. If you struggle to get this afro, you definitely are going to be moving into other categories. You're going to be moving into different levels of porosity. Couple other characteristics. The shine is typically low, and I mean naturally. I don't mean when you have product on and you've done, some Urban Bella stuff, because Urban Bella will give you high shine even if your porosity level is high. High porosity hair, you use a lot of product. I mean a lot. One of the reasons Urban Bella products are so thick is because my hair in the past has been highly porous. And when I started making Urban Bella products, I was like, these products will work for me. I'm going to use and love everything I make. And so many people make these watery products. And watery product, high porosity hair will tell on you in a minute because you have to use too much of it. You can't really get any good results because it's watered down, it's too thin, and it just goes in the hair and out, and it doesn't last. So high porosity hair, we naturally use a lot of product. All right. It's challenging to maintain moisture and hydration. Your hair will take on moisture and hydration very well. You can get it in. It's just hard to keep it in. High porosity people, you typically have shorter dry times. You don't have to stay under the dryer for a long time when you're doing a style. Now, obviously, other characteristics matter. How thick is your hair? Things like that. And chemicals process quickly. That's one of the things. If you are highly porous and you go and get color and people walk away from you, you should panic immediately. You should say, whoa, 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 no, come back. You need to stand over my head the entire time. Don't move. If they move your color, if it's a dark color, it's too dark. If it's a light color, your hair probably will end up in the bowl, not attached to your head. Because highly porous hair absorbs chemicals quickly, processes them quickly, fast. And people with highly porous hair, if somebody's doing the wrong thing, your hair will come clean out. Now, people with low porosity hair, they can walk around with a head of bleach for hours, go get a snack, and probably be just fine. Don't do that. That's totally an exaggeration and a figure of speech. But just to give a difference and give an understanding of the difference in the chemical processes. So if you had a relaxer and your relaxer used to process very quickly, you most likely have high porosity hair. If your relaxer would take some time, it would just take a long time to get it to process. It had to sit. Color. Oh God, if you're trying to color your hair. Oh, here's a good example. Asians. The Asian ethnic group, they have a hard time being blonde because their cuticle is so closed. Most of the time when they end up coloring their hair, it just goes to orange. I'm trying to see if I have an example. Their hair just goes to orange. To get it to blonde takes several processes. Where someone who has high porosity afro textured hair, you can go to a bleach level. You can go to a bleach, this is called level 9 blonde. You can go to this level 9 blonde in 15 minutes or so. It doesn't take long at all. Okay, so prone to breakage if you use the wrong products. People with high porosity hair, if your products are not good, you're going to know very quickly your hair is going to give you a lot of problems really, really fast. It will not take long to see what's what. Now, if you think you're high porosity, if you're not sure, if you have any questions about any of these characteristics I have on the screen, go ahead and post your questions in the comments. I want to help you determine if you're high porosity. And you can be high porosity or medium porosity, but not quite have all of these things. Like you can say, all right, my hair can get an afro, but I have a lot of shine. That's fine. That's a thing. My hair uses a lot of product, but it's never dry. So you can have a mix of things. You can have a mix of porosity levels on your head. This is to give you a good guide. Most people, and I'm going to tell you all this, most people fall in this category. We're going to go ahead and go to medium porosity. So most people are here. Where's my little thing? All right, here we go. Most people fall into this category, medium porosity. The hair is more buoyant after a few days, but it lays relatively flat. So here's what we have noticed about people with medium porosity. They wash their hair. It lays nice and smooth or relatively smooth. Nothing's perfect. It's going to lay smooth. But to get a full afro usually takes a couple of days. The hair has to sit for a while. There's a better way to say that, but it's really hard to get a nice full fro on day 1, 2, or 3 of a wash. This hair texture uses a limited amount of product. So you're going to use the amount of product tied to the amount of strands on your hair. Where highly porous people use more product because it's being absorbed. You can have fine volume hair and have high porosity and still use a lot because your hair is just soaking it all up. Medium porosity people have relatively longer dry times. Chemical processes are pretty average. I said slowly on my slide, but it's actually pretty average. When companies set a process time for chemical processing, they typically are talking about medium porosity people. The hair can handle being roughed up, but it will show over time. This hair texture is also prone, this medium porosity hair is prone to buildup. Here's the good thing about medium porosity hair. Medium porosity hair can actually absorb moisture very well, but it does not give it up easily. Where high porosity absorbs well, but gives it up easily, and low porosity won't even really take it on. So the medium porosity people tend to be where everybody tends to kind of gravitate and say, I want hair like this person. I want hair like that person. Now, one thing about medium porosity hair, what was I going to tell you about medium porosity hair? It'll come back to me. Most people that we have met over the 20 years of running Urban Bella fall in this category. Most people, especially black women, most of us think that we are high porosity. Most of us are medium. There's variations along that. Now, keep in mind, one person can be medium porosity, but their curl diameter is going to be different from yours. Their volume might be different from yours. They may have thicker hair in one area. Their shrinkage is different from yours. So porosity is just talking about how does your hair absorb and use product, okay? There's other things we'll dive into. All right, so let's go to low porosity, and then I'm going to look at your questions and comments, and then I'm just going to kind of begin to kind of wrap up and make sure I get everybody squared away. But let's go to low porosity real quick. All right, and low porosity hair, and these are my examples of low porosity. As you can see in my models' hair, their hair falls straight down. Low porosity hair, an afro is almost a no-go all day. We have one of our tribe members, y'all. She's in the group. She doesn't talk a lot. Her name is Jan Lowry. Jan tickles me. Jan used to come into the salon, and Jan's hair is like the women you see here, but Jan keeps her hair short. If she's got it probably a little bit longer now, but her hair is like this. And another woman would come in, Delanda. Delanda was wonderful, but Delanda is absolutely a high porosity natural. Both of them would say, now I want my hair to look like that. Jan wanted an afro, and Delanda wanted her hair to be silky and fall straight down like Jan's. And one day they finally got a chance to meet, and we had a great conversation about how everybody wants something different than what they have. But it's just another beautiful example of how the diversity really is when you start talking about black women and our hair. But the other part too is that you really begin to learn and understand, like, okay, I can't get an afro because my hair has a lot of silk overlay. My cuticle's so close, my hair has a silky feel to it. So low porosity, hair lays flat, hair is mostly shiny unless it's damaged. It is absolutely prone to dryness. People with low porosity hair, people think their hair is never dry because it looks so shiny, but shine and moisture are not related at all. There's no connection there. You can have well moisturized hair that is as dull as the day is long. Low porosity hair repels water. It has longer dry times. Chemicals process very slowly, and it takes a long time to show if it has not been taken care of. And it's just prone to product buildup. So let's just see before I do that, let me go back. I want to go to one more thing. I want to go, that's not what I meant to do. Hold on. Let me pull up, I think it's this one. No, I need that one either. Hold on. I have a little slide I want to pull up. Sorry, y'all. All right, it'll come to me. It will come to me eventually. Is this one it? Okay, I don't know. I'm not going to worry about finding it. Let me just take these down. Here's the thing that I want y'all to understand is that one of the easiest ways to really determine your porosity level is to look at the silkiness of your hair. One of my colleagues, she calls it silk overlay. It's not really a silk overlay. It's just if your cuticle is very closed, your porosity level is going to be very, very low. And if your cuticle is slightly closed, your porosity is going to be more medium. Your hair is not going to look as silky. That's one of the best ways to tell. Do you have silky strands? When you pull one out, does it kind of have a nice smooth silkiness to it? The silkier it is, or silkier it appears, the lower the porosity. Because the cuticle's closed, it creates a nice glass surface, and it's easy for products and things to glide off of it and move it through the hair, but it's not easy to get nutrition into the hair. Okay? That is the easiest way to explain it. Now, there's some other little diagrams I've shown you all. I've explained the pine cone thing in other classes, but I want to check and see if you feel like you have the right information to determine your porosity level. It's important because next week, I'm going to walk you through how to adjust your system based on where you fall. So we'll talk about that next week. Let's take a look here and see what your comments are, what you have to say. Yes, Pat, your hair does love an afro. Y'all are funny to me. Hi, Vanessa. Oh, God. Hi, Vanessa. Eden said she didn't realize the hair strand was built like that. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The water test is a straight failure. It's a straight failure. Let me put it to you this way. It's a straight failure just on the fact that we aren't scientists. Now, if some of you are scientists and you are like, well, I'm a scientist and I would do mine the right way. Perfect. Please share your results if you're a scientist and you're really doing a controlled experiment the way that Dr. Porter did. But most of us are not doing a controlled experiment and testing, and we pulling out 1 or 2 strands, dropping them in the water to see what it does. And as she proved, it doesn't do anything anyway. Okay, so let's go back to the other comments. Oops, I keep hitting the wrong thing. All right. Jacqueline, you say you've not tried it. Okay, no problem. All right. Pat said, my hair loves an afro. That's its natural state. Yes. Mine too. My hair does very well in afro. Now, over time, my hair has gotten very hydrated. It does not afro for me quite as easily with Urbella product. But if I switched to if I made something else, like if I put number 10 on my hair and just pulled it through, it would afro very easily. But I noticed over time, it doesn't do it quite as easily for me. All right. Ooh, yes. So Bonnie said, once you color your hair, how does that affect the porosity and what do you need to do different? When you color your hair or chemically treat it, it raises your porosity level. When you color your hair, you actually, to tell you all this, it creates cracks along the cuticle. So your hair is more fragile. And when you color it, you actually lose pieces of your cuticle. And one of the things, and I'll go back to this slide, one of the things that's real important to know is you can raise your porosity level with damaging processes, blow drying it a lot, brushing it a lot, and I mean with like a boar bristle brush, those kinds of things, they do raise your porosity level. So yes, chemical processes do raise it. All right. Getting an afro for me is right after cleansing and it takes very little time to dry. Okay, yeah. Makes sense. That is type 4 hair. Eden said, I'm medium through and through. Okay, good. I'm glad these characteristics make sense to y'all. Hi, Catherine. Since I'm really confused now. I can have an afro, but it takes forever to dry. Yeah. Last Saturday, did summer gel and wash and go and all out day and still had not dried after 8 hours. So one thing I want to make sure I tell you all when I'm talking about dry times and things like that, I am speaking of drying under a hood dryer. I'll give you an example. If I wash my hair, condition, and go out in the street and just walk around, that's going to take days to dry. That's not going to dry fast. The ends will dry very quickly. And here's one thing you can test. How quickly do the ends dry? The roots will take me 2 days. Easy. The roots are the last thing to dry for me. And that probably goes back to what Dr. Porter's talking about, that you got more compounds and things going on at the root than you do on the end. The ends have way less matter on them. So they are more porous and they dry more quickly. And then the roots they take longer. So air drying absolutely is a difficult gauge. I'm talking about drying under a hood dryer or even blow drying too. Blow drying hair that's low porosity takes way longer than blow drying hair that's high porosity. Okay, so tell me if it clarifies anything for you. Let's see. Janet says, what you said, I'm low, but mine don't look good. It looks good. All right, Janet, we got to make sure you got the right product. We'll get you there. You might be medium like me. Yeah, okay. Are there any differences in gray hair? So, yeah, Deshaun, gray hair, you know what? Let me write that down. Gray hair we need to just spend time on gray hair. Because yes, gray hair changes the whole game. Gray hair affects your wiriness. So let me see notes from call. All right, gray hair and its effects. We'll spend some time on gray hair. Because yes, that changes things for you for sure. Excuse me, y'all. Please excuse me. I'm with my can't get my language right. I am exhausted. I'm tired, so I'm not as crispy as I usually am. All right, we're gonna get through it. Let's see. Yeah, Nelly said I'm high porosity. I don't care what I do. My hair is always in an afro. My hair is always dry. It doesn't take long to dry, under hood dry. Nelly, you're medium porosity. Trust me on that one. You're medium. Your hair has quite a bit of silky texture to it. And I know that from looking at your videos where you've shown us how you do your hair. I'd say your hair might be a little more. There's another characteristic I did not put in that I think is real important, y'all, and it's called wiriness. Wiriness, I'm going to add it to the list because a lot of people don't talk about that part, because you can have very, very medium and low porosity hair, but what it looks like is affected by how wiry it is. And this goes into what I'm saying about there are different aspects that come into play that will adjust what you experience, but your porosity level is just a foundation. We want to just lay that. But Nelly, you are for sure medium porosity. No doubt. No doubt. And I can even look at some of your videos, Nelly, and use you as an example here on a live, if you like, to show and explain why, because you've given us some great footage. So if you're good with that, I would be happy to do a little dive on your hair in particular. But I would do it here on a live. So let me know. All right. Nora said, my hair won't go into an afro, but it dries very fast. Another thing too, y'all, is climate. And Nora, you live in a not necessarily dry climate, but on your end of the end of the earth. In my time there, I find everything dries faster. Hair, skin, everything dries more quickly. Humidity level is lower where you are, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check that to be sure, but humidity will come into play for that for you. Density, Nora, in your case, your density allows your hair to dry very quickly. But yes, I can look at your hair and see it's very difficult for you to get an afro. I would imagine it flops over and does not stay standing up. Yes, because your porosity is medium. For sure. All right. Let's see. Jackie said, Kanisha, last year you mentioned using a blue shampoo that, if I'm not mistaken, you say helps with gray hair. I did. I wish I had something better to recommend to you, Jackie. Give me a minute, Jackie. I'll send it to you privately because I do not want everybody to run out and grab it. Not that I care about sharing brands with y'all that we don't make. That's not it. It's just, I have one thing about the blue shampoos I would suggest. They're drying. So I got to be careful about what I put in front of you. But blue shampoos do keep your gray whiter. They do. So if you want your gray to pop, it's going to do it. And blonde, if you're blonde. When I used to have blonde hair, I would use it. And there's a couple on the market. L'Oreal Shimmering Lights is one. Aveda used to make one. I don't think they do anymore. But not a lot of people make blue shampoo. But blue shampoos, unfortunately, they don't have to be drying. They're just drying. I have a formula to make a blue shampoo. I have to dig through my notes and find that formula. Because if you use a blue shampoo, I just don't want it to dry your hair out. That's way too much information. But there's a few on the market, yes, and they're called blue. They are blue shampoos, and I think there's at least two on the market. One I cannot remember the name of the brand. L'Oreal Shimmering Lights is the other one. You know, Dr. Porter could probably talk about that. She would know more about the L'Oreal Shimmering Lights product than I would. Just my experience was it was dry. All right. Let's see. I keep hitting the wrong thing, y'all. All right, so those are all the questions. Let me just make sure I hit all of my notes, y'all, and we're gonna wrap up. So let's start with making sure that did y'all make sure everybody got the quiz? And I am going to give away 2 of the boxes. Y'all know that for the summer. Let's see. Let's go to making sure you put your name on the list to win one of the boxes. That drawing will be on April 30th. So that if you want to give it to someone you love and you want us to send it to them, they'll receive it by Mother's Day. If it's a Mother's Day gift. Let's put this in here for you. All right. This is where you place your name to be on the books for a drawing for a box. Oh, Bonnie, I didn't see your question. Can you have more than different porosity? Yes, like different textures on a head. Yes, you can. Bonnie, absolutely. You can pull out 2 strands of hair from the same head and they will not have the same porosity. Or they might, or they'll be close. I can tell you, like, my hair is different. Sometimes I'll pull out strands of hair and I'm like, oh, that's mine, huh? Sometimes I have strands of hair that are so silky and they don't go with the wiriness that, clearly I have. My hair is really wiry and has a lot of bends to it. And the porosity will shift. But for the most part, I'm pretty consistent at medium high porosity. And you'll find the same with you. You're pretty consistent, Bonnie. Your porosity level, Bonnie, I'd say is low medium is what I'd say you are. But you could easily find a piece that's low. You could easily find a piece that's high on the same head, for sure. All right, let's see here. All right, so. Oh, Janet, this is interesting. I'm going to put this up because this is true. This hairdresser mixed hydrogen peroxide with shampoo last week on my gray hair. Yes, that is something that we do in the salon. So when she says hydrogen peroxide, now your stylist may have used hydrogen peroxide. We would use Developer. Developer is made with hydrogen peroxide. So we would use a salon chemical mixed with your shampoo, and it will help lift out the yellowing of your of the gray. Now, I do not, please y'all, I just got to be direct with you. Don't do that at home. Please don't do that at home. I am not suggesting that, and I would never recommend it, but I do want to put up what Janet is saying because it does work. We've done it. Not hydrogen peroxide, but Developer. And Developer is hydrogen peroxide. It's just a creamy base. It's what we use to lift your hair. Okay, so make sure you understand this. When we were in high school, people would put hydrogen peroxide and like lemon juice on their hair to go blonde. So you are lifting color out of your hair. So if you have color and then you go and do that, who knows? But yep, Janet, you're correct. That is absolutely something we do in the hair salon. That is something I learned from Miss Jane Carter. She taught us that. Could you please check the link? It's a dead link. I sure can. Let's see. I didn't do it right. I'll just go grab a new one. Let me grab another link. Hold on one second. Oh, let me go to my notes because my notes might have. Thanks for letting me know to Vanessa that my link is dead. Let's see. Box. Let me check it out. Let me check my link real quick, everyone. Sorry about that. Let me double check. And I will delete it from the live. Okay, here we go. All right. Spring. Let's see. What am I calling it? Here we go. Okay, I will give you a new link. Here we go. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, that link don't do a thing. I'll delete that from the live. Okay, there we go. There is a new link. Yes, please add your blue shampoo. I'd love to. I just got, please add your blue shampoo for the gray ladies. And of course, y'all. What am I thinking? Gray ladies? You mean us? Me? Me too. So I'll just have to take a look at my formula again. I've had it for years. I had the raw materials to test it. And I think when I moved everything in my lab, I think I tossed the raw materials. So I'd have to reorder some sample materials to test that formula out. We'll test it. We'll play around with that one. Let's see how it goes. Okay. What do we have? Let me make sure I give you all a proper wrap up here. See if I missed any of my notes. So bottom line with porosity is this. Why does it matter? The amount of silky texture to your strands. The more silky texture to your strand, the lower your porosity. These are just some little recap notes. The more silky the texture, the harder it is to moisturize. The less silky the texture, the easier it is to moisturize, but hard to keep it moisturized. Silky textures can create an illusion of being healthy because they can easily look good with any old product on the shelf. But over time, eventually, that story will tell itself. It goes without fail. The people complaining the most about dry hair are people with the silkiest hair. To Urban Bella. Most people who identify as black fall somewhere in the middle. Very few of us have really, really high porosity hair. Some of us do, but very few of us do. All right, let me see what other lovely little notes I didn't give you. I introduced y'all to Dr. Porter. I made all these little fancy notes, and I want to share them. Like, I took a long time for these slides. So wait, let's go here. Things to know: damaged hair has a higher porosity than your normal level. Let me explain what I mean by that. So I love telling this story about a customer, one of my favorites too. She used to come to the salon every blue moon. We see her every now and again. Literally, we saw her hair go from silky, medium porosity, easy to style hair to a much drier, porous, and dull hair. Because we would see her every couple of months, and she washed her hair once a month. Used only our styling gel, didn't use anything else, whatever she could grab, and ultimately stopped wearing her hair natural. And she had one of the most beautiful heads of hair we had ever seen. I always like to reference her story because it's a testament, it was truly a testament to us in a controlled environment of Urban Bella, that what you do impacts what your hair looks like, your hair characteristics. And people say, well, you can change your porosity level. No, you're just not seeing your true porosity level because your hair is so damaged and dried out. So that is a testament, and it's always been to me, that you're going to see your best results following a system like Urban Bella. Very, very important to know. And we would tell all the time, we say, girl, your hair is so stunning, but it has gotten so dull. And she's like, I know, I just pop in here, let y'all do it. I'm here for the wine and the popcorn and the conversation. We were like, that's great, but let's get this hair. This hair is stunning, and love color. Love some color, get color in 5 minutes. But that hair was really drying out, and I was just like, oh, you're killing me because it's so beautiful. So trust me, you can have your dream hair on your head and not see it because you don't have a dream system in process. All right. Porosity level will change with improved care if the hair is damaged. Your cuticle is missing or raised, causing your hair to look dull. That goes back to the color. That goes back to treating it rough. Things are not absolute. I want to make sure y'all understand that. You can have low porosity and high porosity on one head. So Bonnie, this answers a couple of questions that you were asking me. All right. And then let's see. Next week, we're going to talk about hydrating with different porosity levels, moisturizing with different porosity levels, styling with different porosity levels, and we will talk about haircuts and trims and how they impact your styling day. So we will spend some more time on styling next week, and I love that. So if you are new, how do you find us? How do you stay in contact? You can find us anytime at Urban Bella on YouTube. You can really just put that in Google and we'll pull up. Or if you are on Facebook and Instagram, we are at Urban Bella Curls. And you can join our text club. And that's how I notify you that I'm going live. Even if it's quick and impromptu, I will typically text that out. So please join. And last but not least, what's my last slide? So just to recap everything, we went over the Urban Bella system. Be sure to take the quiz that I put up. Get an understanding of what you can expect with your current routine. Most tribe members will find they're getting the 2 weeks. If you're new, you probably are going to fall closer to a few days to maybe just at a week. And the natural hair characteristics we're going to dive into. We're going to keep going, and we're going to spend April on the characteristics. And I want to make sure everybody understands their porosity level. So if you don't understand your porosity level and you went through and you said, well, I think I fall here, but I'm a little confused, definitely you can post a Tolstoy and we'll respond back to you and let you know what you are. It won't be a video response on the porosity thing, but at least you can post that and we can see what's what. So take advantage of that. And I'm going to take a look at our comments before we wrap up, and we'll be back next week for our usual get up. Blue shampoo, please, for us gray ladies. Hey, no problem, y'all. I need some blue shampoo. Somebody made a comment about my gray hair. I forget my hair is gray. I'm like, oh yeah, it is gray, isn't it? Maybe I need some things. Oh, Tracy wants to know who cuts my hair. Hi, Tracy. Tracy, my hair is cut by Kaya at Dreamy Hair Days. Let me put that in the comments for you so you can find Miss Kaya. And this is her. Kaya is Urban Bella's salon partner. And so she has the Urban Bella system in her salon. So she uses our cleanser. She follows the whole system I laid out. And Urban Bella, she was one of our former salon stylists. We have a whole way we go about educating customers, and Kaya still embodies that in her salon. So you'll be able to continue to grow and learn by working with her. It's okay to use my video. Thank you, Nelly. Perfect. We will. I'm going to use your video because I would love for you to understand like exactly how your hair is, walk through it, and I'll even use some examples. So Nelly, on our next session, I'm going to open up with talking about your hair, okay? So we'll open up, and I'll make a little time for I'll make a little time if anybody else wants to submit their video, or if you already have one. In fact, I'll probably use ones that are already there. So if I'll be reaching out to say, hey, can I use your video as an example of porosity? So I will probably, Nelly, you for sure. You're up first. And I'll see what other tribe members have different examples of hair. Pat St. Clair would be great. Pat, I don't know if you're still here. I would love to pull your videos and content because you do such great content too. I'd love to pull yours as an example of high porosity, Nelly as medium, and then someone in the tribe as low medium. So I'll pull you ladies as examples and just reach out and ask you if it's okay to put you on blast on the live, because the group is private, the live is public. So we'll check on that. Are there any other questions I can answer? Well, if there are any other questions, don't hesitate. Just comment here, and I will answer those. If you want a specific question answered about your hair, please go to our Tolstoy bottom left-hand corner on the website. That is going to get you what you really want. And let me just put the website up here for you. Let's do that. I'll try to put it up. Here we go. Let's put the Urmela website up, and you'll find that Tolstoy right there. What happened to the ambassadors? The ambassadors are here. The ambassadors post all the time. If you're in the beauty group, you see the ambassadors post a lot. Matter of fact, what did they just put up? The ambassadors just put up. Janine just put up her growth difference over the course of a year or some change. So they're there. They are there. They are doing things. They post and they have comments and whatnot. So did you want to be one, or you just want to know what they post? Because they do. All right. Any other questions? Let me know. Nope, nothing. We're good. If you have something, just post it and I will see it. You all have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful weekend. And it was very helpful. I'm glad it was helpful. That's good to know. Oh, and stay tuned. Obviously, y'all know the masterclass is coming up. That is going to be coming up. I've decided we're going to do it in May. So I will open up the cart for that closer to the end of April. So like the last 2 weeks of April, you will be able to register for that course, and we will have that course in May. I am going to get some rest, Jackie. I am tired. I'm going to have my usual Thursday night Chick-fil-A. I always celebrate the end of the live with Chick-fil-A or tacos. So I think it's going to be Chick-fil-A or wings. I kind of want some wings tonight, but I always have something delicious I love to eat. And I get some rest. I'm going to watch my TV shows and start again tomorrow. So y'all have a great night. Thank you so much. Marissa is the one that I see a lot, and I love her videos. Yes, Marissa. I'm tired. I can't remember who does what. Marissa does a lot. And some people who are not brand ambassadors post videos as well and do a great job with that. So really, you all are a community of people who post videos. And anybody can post and share. The community loves to, the point of the videos and the content is to help each other. And while I can come on and show y'all clips of me doing my hair, and that's all fine and dandy, there's nothing like you all sharing your journey in your hair. Not that people don't believe me, they do. But I like the value that you all bring to each other. So Debbie, why don't you put a video up? Go ahead, Debbie. All right, Debbie just volunteered. She's going to do a video, y'all. Okay, lovely ladies. Thank you so much, Tribe. Y'all have a great, great night. Jackie said, have you tried the cauliflower sandwich from Chick-fil-A? Jacqueline, girl, stop. No, I do not want no cauliflower sandwich. I want the regular fried chicken, pickle, French fry, lemonade with the cookie meal. What is a Debbie said you're not sure about that? You not sure about that, Debbie? Okay, y'all. Debbie said she ain't sure about that. But Jackie, no, I'm not gonna be having the cauliflower vegan sandwich. I don't care who said it's good. No, regular old fried chicken. All right, y'all have a good night. I enjoy y'all so much. Take care. Bye.